This video contains audio content only. There are no visual elements or images accompanying the audio. If you're expecting to see video footage, please note that this is an intentional audio-only presentation. We recommend listening to this content rather than watching the screen. Thank you for your understanding and enjoy the audio. Welcome! This exploration of cuckolding will unravel this complex and often misunderstood dynamic in easy-to-understand language. We'll journey from its historical roots as a symbol of shame to its modern interpretation as a consensual exploration of desire. We'll delve into the psychology behind this practice, examining the diverse motivations and relationship dynamics involved. Get ready to challenge societal norms, explore the boundaries of human sexuality, and discover the multifaceted nature of intimacy. This is a journey of self-discovery, a conversation about desire, and an invitation to redefine connection. Chapter 1. From Shame to Desire. Unraveling the history of cuckoldry. The word cuckold carries a weight of centuries, a word that has traveled a long and winding road from societal shame to a complex and often misunderstood exploration of desire. To truly understand this evolution, we must first venture into the natural world, to the habits of the cuckoo bird. This bird, known for its distinctive call, practices a unique form of brood parasitism, laying its eggs in the nests of other, unsuspecting birds. These unwitting foster parents then raise the cuckoo chick as their own, oblivious to the biological deception. This image of a deceived male, unknowingly investing his efforts in offspring that are not his own, became deeply intertwined with human relationships, forming the very foundation of the term cuckold. Initially, cuckold signified a man unknowingly raising another's child, a consequence of his wife's infidelity. However, by the medieval era, the term had evolved into a potent symbol of public ridicule and shame. The cuckold was no longer just a deceived father. He was the object of mockery, a man deemed inadequate, unable to control his wife or secure his lineage. This societal condemnation was often visualized through the now iconic image of horns. Imagine a man, not with actual horns sprouting from his head, but burdened by the imaginary weight of these symbolic antlers, visible to everyone but himself. This image, prevalent in Western traditions, alluded to the defeated stag, who forfeits his mate to a stronger rival. The horns became a visual representation of the cuckold's perceived emasculation, a public declaration of his wife's betrayal. This visual language of shame extended beyond horns. In 13th to 18th century China, a different color carried a similar weight: green. Sumptuary laws dictated that men in households with prostitutes were forced to wear green scarves or hats. This green hat became a visual marker, branding these men as widows, individuals aware of and accepting their wives' infidelity. The green hat symbolized not just the infidelity itself, but the man's perceived passivity in the face of it, his failure to uphold societal expectations of masculine control. The medieval perception of cuckoldry was deeply embedded in social customs and legal frameworks. The cuckold was not just a figure of fun in folklore and literature. He was a legal entity, his compromised status impacting inheritance and social standing. The very act of accusing someone of being a cuckold could have serious legal repercussions. However, alongside the figure of the unwitting cuckold existed the concept of the wittol. This term, derived from wit, meaning knowing, described a man aware of and reconciled to his wife's infidelity. While the cuckold was pitied and mocked, the wittol was often viewed with even greater disdain, a man who willingly relinquished his perceived masculine authority. The image of the cuckold permeated the arts. Rabelais' Tears, Livers of Gargantua and Pantagruel portrays a horned fool as a cuckold, a figure of ridicule and amusement. Molière's L'École des Femmes features Arnulf, a man who initially mocks cuckolds, only to find himself trapped in the very predicament he derided. Shakespeare, too, frequently explored the themes of cuckoldry, with characters like Othello consumed by suspicion and jealousy. These literary examples, spanning different cultures and time periods, illustrate the pervasive nature of cuckoldry as a source of shame and societal condemnation. This historical narrative wasn't limited to the West. In Islamic cultures, the term da-youth described a man perceived as apathetic or permissive towards unchaste behavior by female relatives or a spouse. This term, while related to cuckoldry, carried a specific cultural weight, highlighting the importance of paternalistic protectiveness within these societies. Similarly, The female equivalent, Cuckolding, while appearing later in English literature around 1562, reflected a similar societal anxiety about female infidelity and its impact on male honor. The shift from cuckoldry as a source of shame to its emergence as a fetish was a gradual and complex process. While the exact origins are difficult to pinpoint, early examples suggest a fascination with the very transgression that once brought shame. The humiliation, the breaking of societal norms, the relinquishing of control, became, for some, a source of erotic excitement. Leopold von Sacher-Masoch, the writer from whom the term masochism is derived, provides an early glimpse into this shift. His own wife, Aurora Rumelin, documented his pleas and even threats, urging her to engage in infidelity so he could experience the pain and humiliation. While Rumelin refused, her accounts reveal a growing fascination with the erotic potential of cuckoldry. This transition continued into the modern era. What was once a symbol of shame became, for a subset of individuals, a consensual act, a form of erotic expression. The modern cuckold, unlike his historical counterpart, is a willing participant in his partner's infidelity. He may derive pleasure from watching, listening, or simply knowing about his partner's sexual encounters with others. This modern interpretation of cuckoldry embraces the complexity of desire, acknowledging the diverse range of human sexual expression. The historical weight of the term remains, a reminder of the societal condemnation that once surrounded it. But the modern cuckold reclaims the narrative, transforming shame into desire, and transgression into a consensual exploration of intimacy. Chapter 2. Beyond the stereotypes, the diverse faces of cuckold relationships. The modern landscape of cuckoldry is a vast and varied terrain, stretching far beyond the simplistic, often derisive image of the humiliated husband. It's a spectrum of experiences, motivations, and relationship dynamics, encompassing partners of all genders and sexual orientations. The unifying element is consent, a foundation of open communication and negotiated boundaries that redefine the traditional notions of fidelity and intimacy. Forget the stereotype. The faces of cuckoldry are as diverse as human desire itself. Consider the story of Venus, a woman who openly discussed her experiences cuckolding multiple men in a podcast. Her story challenges the assumption that cuckolding is solely a male fantasy, highlighting the agency and sexual empowerment some women find in this dynamic. She described the intricacies of the experience, the communication required, and the satisfaction derived from both her own pleasure and the arousal of her partners. Then there's the Reddit user, who stumbled into the world of cuckoldry through an online encounter. He described meeting a woman whose husband, a strong, successful, and traditionally masculine figure, embraced the cuckold role. This alpha cuckold, as the Reddit user termed him, shattered his preconceived notions about cuckoldry stemming from insecurity, raising questions about the complex psychology behind this desire. His experience highlighted the challenge of understanding a dynamic that defies easy categorization. The roles and dynamics within cuckold relationships are as varied as the individuals involved. The cuckold/hotwife/bull lifestyle blog, for example, details the nuances of these roles, emphasizing the consensual and communicative nature of the dynamic. For some women, the hotwife role is a source of empowerment, a way to explore their sexuality and desires openly, taking charge of their own pleasure. The cuckold, in this context, finds satisfaction in his partner's fulfillment, experiencing a sense of compersion, the joy of witnessing another's happiness. The bull, the third party in this dynamic, adds an element of excitement and novelty, his role defined by the boundaries and agreements established by the couple. However, this dynamic isn't without its potential pitfalls. As highlighted in a Vice article, certain cuckolding scenarios, particularly those involving interracial dynamics, can perpetuate harmful stereotypes and objectification. The article explored the problematic tropes often found in interracial cuckold porn, emphasizing the need for critical awareness and responsible engagement with this fetish. The impact of cuckolding on existing relationships is equally complex. One woman, writing for Cosmopolitan, shared how cuckolding revitalized her relationship, leading to a deeper understanding of her partner's desires and a stronger bond between them. The shared experience, the open communication required, fostered a new level of intimacy and trust. However, this positive outcome isn't universal. A Quora post explored the potential downsides of cuckolding, detailing stories of resentment, jealousy, and relationship breakdown. These contrasting narratives highlight the importance of careful consideration, open communication, and ongoing negotiation within cuckold relationships. The spectrum of cuckolding experiences extends from fantasy to lifestyle. Some individuals find cuckolding primarily a fantasy, a source of private arousal and exploration. Others engage in role play, enacting cuckolding scenarios within the safety and established boundaries of their relationships. And then there are those who live a cuckolding lifestyle, integrating this dynamic into their everyday lives. The Cuckold website, for example, provides a platform for cuckold couples to connect and share their experiences, highlighting the community aspect of this lifestyle. A Polyamory Today article further explored this spectrum, describing different types of cuckolds, such as the waiting cuckold, who finds arousal in the anticipation of his partner's encounter, and the voyeur cuckold, who derives pleasure from watching. The emotional and psychological landscape of cuckolding is equally diverse. Jealousy, compersion, humiliation, and submission intertwine in complex ways, shaping the individual experiences of those involved. A Men's Health article delved into the psychology of cuckolding, sharing stories of men who find arousal in the perceived humiliation of the experience. These men described the interplay of shame, desire, and the thrill of transgression, highlighting the subjective nature of these emotions. Another article explored the concept of compersion, the joy of seeing one's partner experience pleasure, even with another person. This emotion, often associated with polyamorous relationships, can also play a significant role in cuckolding, adding a layer of emotional complexity to the dynamic. The ability to navigate these complex emotions, to communicate openly and honestly, is crucial for successful and fulfilling cuckold relationships. The world of cuckoldry is not a monolithic entity. It's a kaleidoscope of experiences, desires, and relationship dynamics. It's a world that challenges societal norms and explores the boundaries of human sexuality. It's a world where shame can transform into desire, transgression into intimacy, and the unexpected becomes a source of profound connection. From the whispered fantasies to the lived realities, the diverse faces of cuckoldry reflect the multifaceted nature of human desire, reminding us that intimacy and connection can take many forms. It's a world where the cuckoo's call, once a symbol of deception and ridicule, has been reinterpreted, its echo now resonating with the diverse voices of those who embrace the complexities of cuckolding. Chapter 3. The Psychology of Cuckolding. Exploring the mind behind the fantasy. The psychology of cuckolding is a multifaceted exploration of human desire, a complex interplay of power dynamics, sexual excitement, taboo transgression, and intricate emotional landscapes. It's a world where established norms are challenged, and the boundaries of intimacy are redefined, offering a unique lens through which to understand the diverse tapestry of human sexual expression. From the perspective of the cuckold, the motivations can be as varied as the individuals themselves, ranging from a thrill in perceived humiliation and surrender of control to a profound sense of compersion, finding pleasure in their partner's sexual fulfillment with another. For some cuckolds, the perceived humiliation becomes an erotic catalyst. Imagine a man watching his wife with another, not with anger or resentment, but with a growing sense of arousal. The very act of witnessing his partner's pleasure with someone else, the knowledge that he is not the sole source of her sexual satisfaction, ignites a unique form of excitement. This isn't simply about masochism, although there can be overlap. It's about a specific kind of power dynamic, a consensual surrender of control that becomes deeply erotic. The cuckold might experience a rush of adrenaline, a heightened awareness of his own vulnerability, and a paradoxical sense of empowerment through this very vulnerability. He might find himself captivated by the details, the sounds, the visual spectacle of his partner's infidelity, each element amplifying his arousal. As one man described, the sounds of his wife's moans were different, almost alien, when another man was pleasuring her, adding to the surreal and exciting nature of the experience. For other cuckolds, compersion takes center stage. They derive genuine pleasure from their partner's happiness, even if that happiness stems from sexual experiences with others. This isn't about suppressing jealousy, it's about transcending it, finding joy in the knowledge that their partner is experiencing sexual fulfillment, regardless of the source. This compersion can be deeply intertwined with the cuckold's own sense of self-worth, a feeling of having contributed to their partner's happiness by allowing them the freedom to explore their desires. One man described feeling as if he himself were experiencing an orgasm when witnessing his partner's pleasure with another, a visceral connection to her joy. This sense of shared pleasure, of mutual fulfillment, can strengthen the bond between the cuckold and his partner, creating a unique form of intimacy that transcends traditional notions of monogamy. The taboo nature of cuckolding, its transgression of societal norms, further amplifies its appeal for some. The thrill of the forbidden, the breaking of established rules, can be a potent aphrodisiac. This isn't simply about rebellion. It's about exploring the edges of desire, venturing into uncharted territories of sexual experience. The cuckold might find himself drawn to the very act of defiance, the knowledge that he is engaging in something considered taboo, adding an element of danger and excitement to the dynamic. From the perspective of the involved partners, the motivations are equally diverse and complex. For the hot wife, or cuckoldress, cuckolding can be a source of profound empowerment. It's about reclaiming her sexuality, taking control of her desires, and dictating the terms of her own pleasure. She might find liberation in the freedom to explore different sexual connections without jeopardizing her primary relationship. This empowerment can manifest in her actions, her interactions, and her sense of self. She might become more assertive, more confident in expressing her desires, and more comfortable in her own skin. One woman described feeling incredibly sexy and desirable, relishing the attention and validation she received from multiple partners. Another shared how cuckolding allowed her to subvert traditional gender roles, embracing a dominant role in her sexual encounters. The bull, the third party in this dynamic, is often drawn to the no-strings-attached nature of the encounter, the opportunity to explore a different kind of sexual connection. He might be attracted to the taboo nature of the act, the thrill of participating in a forbidden dynamic. For some bulls, the appeal lies in the power dynamic, the opportunity to assume a dominant role and fulfill the cuckoldress's desires. Others might be motivated by a genuine connection with the cuckoldress, finding pleasure in her pleasure and respecting the established boundaries of the relationship. One bull described the experience as a private show, relishing the opportunity to witness and participate in the cuckoldress's sexual exploration. Another emphasized the importance of manners and respect, highlighting the consensual and communicative nature of the encounter. Sexual jealousy, a primal emotion often associated with infidelity, plays a complex and often paradoxical role in cuckolding. For the cuckold, jealousy can be both a source of arousal and a challenge to overcome. The knowledge that others desire his partner, the imagined or witnessed act of their sexual union, can trigger a surge of adrenaline, a heightened sense of possessiveness, and a competitive urge. This can be linked to the sperm competition theory, a biological explanation for increased arousal and sperm production in men when faced with the presence of a rival. From an evolutionary perspective, this response might have served to increase the chances of reproductive success. In the context of cuckolding, this biological urge can be eroticized, the jealousy transformed into a source of sexual excitement. However, it's crucial to manage this jealousy, ensuring it doesn't escalate into possessiveness or resentment. Open communication, clear boundaries, and a deep understanding of each other's motivations are essential for navigating the complex emotional terrain of jealousy within a cuckolding relationship. For the cuckoldress, jealousy might be directed towards the bull, a feeling of possessiveness over her partner's attention and affection. Or she might experience a sense of compersion, finding joy in her partner's arousal and excitement, even if it stems from her interactions with another. The bull, too, might experience jealousy, particularly if he develops feelings for the cuckoldress beyond the purely sexual. Navigating these complex emotions requires honesty, self-awareness, and a willingness to communicate openly and respectfully. Chapter 4. Modern Cuckolding. Cuckolding, in its modern interpretation, is not about infidelity in the traditional sense. It's about a consensual exploration of desire, a redefinition of intimacy that transcends the confines of monogamy. It's about trust, communication, and a deep understanding of each other's motivations and boundaries. It's a dynamic that can be both challenging and rewarding, offering a unique path to sexual and emotional fulfillment for those who choose to embrace it. Imagine a couple, Sarah and Mark, nestled on their couch, a comfortable silence settling between them after a long day. Sarah takes a deep breath, her heart tapping a nervous rhythm against her ribs. "There's something I've been wanting to talk to you about," she begins, her voice barely above a whisper. "Something I've been thinking about, fantasizing about, actually." Mark turns to her, his expression a mix of curiosity and concern. "What is it?" he asks gently. "This, right here, is the starting point. the crucial first step in navigating the complex and often misunderstood world of modern cuckolding. It's a world built on the foundations of open communication, enthusiastic consent, and clearly defined boundaries. Communication isn't just about talking. It's about creating a safe space where vulnerabilities can be shared without fear of judgment. It's about active listening, truly hearing and understanding your partner's desires, fears, and concerns. For Sarah and Mark, this might mean a series of conversations, starting with Sarah expressing her curiosity about cuckolding. She might describe the fantasy, the specific elements that intrigue her, perhaps the idea of watching Mark with another woman, or the thrill of the taboo. Mark, in turn, might express his initial reactions, whether it's surprise, confusion, or even discomfort. The key is to approach these conversations with empathy and a willingness to understand each other's perspectives. I've been reading about cuckolding, Sarah might continue, and the idea of you being with someone else, it's arousing for me. Mark might respond with, I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's a lot to take in. This is perfectly normal. Cuckolding challenges traditional notions of relationships and sexuality, and it's natural to feel apprehensive or uncertain. The next step is to delve deeper, to ask questions and explore the nuances of the desire. Sarah might ask, what specifically makes you uncomfortable? Mark might respond with, I'm worried about feeling jealous or inadequate. These are valid concerns, and addressing them openly and honestly is crucial. This initial conversation shouldn't be a one-time event. It's the beginning of an ongoing dialogue, a process of discovery and negotiation. Here are some examples of questions couples might explore. What aspects of cuckolding are appealing? Is it the visual element, the emotional dynamic, or the transgression of societal norms? What are the specific acts or scenarios that each partner is comfortable with? Are there any hard limits that should never be crossed? What are the expectations regarding the third party? Will they be a stranger, an acquaintance, or someone with an established connection? How will their role be defined? What are the expectations regarding communication and aftercare? How will the couple process their emotions and experiences after a cuckolding encounter? These conversations should be revisited regularly, allowing for adjustments and recalibration as the relationship evolves. Desires and boundaries can shift over time, and it's essential to maintain an open and flexible approach to communication. Informed consent is the bedrock of ethical cuckolding. It's not just about saying yes, it's about fully understanding the implications of the activity, the potential risks and rewards, and the emotional and psychological impact it might have on all involved parties. It's about ensuring that everyone is participating willingly, enthusiastically, and without coercion. For example, if Sarah is eager to explore cuckolding, but Mark agrees only out of a desire to please her, this is not informed consent. True consent requires both partners to be genuinely on board, excited about the prospect, and fully aware of their own boundaries and desires. Consent isn't a static agreement. It's an ongoing process. It needs to be continuously checked and renegotiated throughout the cuckolding experience. Before each encounter, partners should reaffirm their consent, ensuring they are still comfortable with the established boundaries and dynamics. This might involve a simple check-in conversation, a reaffirmation of the agreed-upon rules, or a renegotiation of specific aspects. It's essential to create a space where either partner can express any changes in their comfort level or desires without fear of judgment or pressure. Imagine a scenario where Mark, initially enthusiastic about cuckolding, begins to feel uncomfortable after a few encounters. He might say to Sarah, I've been thinking, and I'm not sure I'm enjoying this as much as I thought I would. I'm feeling more jealous than I expected. Sarah, respecting Mark's feelings, might respond with, I understand. Thank you for being honest with me. Let's talk about it. Maybe we need to adjust some boundaries, or maybe we need to take a break from this for a while. This open communication, this willingness to adapt and prioritize each other's well-being, is essential for navigating the complexities of cuckolding. Boundaries are the guardrails of a cuckolding relationship, defining the limits of what is acceptable and comfortable for each partner. These boundaries can encompass a wide range of aspects, from the practical to the emotional. Here are some specific examples. Partner selection. Some couples might agree that the bull should be a stranger, ensuring anonymity and minimizing the risk of emotional entanglement. Others might prefer the bull to be someone they both know and trust, perhaps a friend or acquaintance. Some might have specific physical preferences for the bull, while others might prioritize personality or shared interests. Sexual acts. Some couples might be comfortable with full sexual intercourse between the cuckoldress and the bull, while others might prefer to limit the encounters to specific acts, such as oral sex or mutual masturbations. Some might be open to the use of toys or BDSM elements, while others might prefer a more vanilla approach. Emotional involvement. Some couples might agree that the cuckolding dynamic should remain purely sexual, with no emotional connection between the cuckoldress and the bull. Others might be open to a certain level of emotional intimacy, perhaps allowing for flirting or casual conversation. Location and timing. Some couples might prefer cuckolding encounters to take place outside the home, perhaps in a hotel or at a swingers club. Others might be comfortable with these encounters happening in their own bedroom. Some might establish specific times or days for cuckolding, while others might prefer a more spontaneous approach. Communication and disclosure. Some couples might agree to share all the details of the cuckolding encounters with each other, while others might prefer a certain level of privacy. Some might be open to the bull knowing about the cuckold's involvement, while others might prefer to keep it a secret. These boundaries should be clearly communicated and mutually agreed upon. They should be written down, if necessary, to ensure clarity and avoid misunderstandings. It's also essential to establish a process for revisiting and renegotiating these boundaries as the relationship evolves. Even with the best communication and clearly defined boundaries, challenges can arise in a cuckolding relationship. Jealousy, a primal emotion, can be particularly difficult to navigate. One partner might feel insecure about their own desirability, or threatened by the emotional connection between their partner and the bull. These feelings are valid and should be addressed with empathy and understanding. Communication techniques, such as active listening and expressing emotions without blame, can be helpful in navigating these challenges. Self-care practices, such as mindfulness and stress management, can also be beneficial in managing difficult emotions. Societal judgment can add another layer of complexity. Cuckolding, despite its growing acceptance, still carries a stigma in many cultures. Couples might face criticism or disapproval from family, friends, or even strangers. This external pressure can strain the relationship, making it even more important for the couple to have a strong foundation of communication and support. Seeking guidance from therapists or counselors specializing in non-traditional relationships can provide valuable tools and strategies for navigating these challenges. These professionals can help couples develop healthy communication patterns, manage difficult emotions, and build resilience in the face of societal judgment. Imagine Sarah and Mark attending a social gathering, where they encounter a friend who expresses disapproval of their cuckolding lifestyle. Mark, feeling defensive, might respond with anger or defensiveness. Sarah, however, might choose a different approach. She might calmly explain their decision, emphasizing the consensual nature of their dynamic and the positive impact it has had on their relationship. She might also set a boundary with the friend, stating that while they are open to discussing their lifestyle, they will not tolerate judgment or criticism. This assertive yet respectful approach can help to diffuse potentially tense situations and maintain healthy boundaries with others. Modern cuckolding is a journey of self-discovery, a path that requires courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to challenge established norms. It's a journey best navigated with open communication, enthusiastic consent, and clearly defined boundaries. It's a journey that can lead to deeper intimacy, greater self-awareness, and a more fulfilling sexual and emotional connection. It's a journey that celebrates the diverse and often unexpected landscapes of human desire. Chapter 5. The Future of Cuckolding. Redefining monogamy and intimacy. Cuckolding, once shrouded in shame, is now sparking conversations about monogamy, intimacy, and commitment. It challenges traditional relationship models, offering a glimpse into a future where diverse expressions of love and sexuality are celebrated. This isn't about infidelity rebranded, it's about a conscious and consensual exploration of desire, a reimagining of intimacy beyond conventional monogamy. While cuckoldry carries historical baggage, those who embrace this dynamic in the 21st century are redefining its meaning. This shift is evident in individuals who openly discuss their experiences. Women like Venus highlight the agency and sexual empowerment they find in this dynamic. For them, it's about taking control of their sexuality and challenging traditional power dynamics within relationships. This reclamation extends to the cuckold himself. For some men, witnessing their partner's pleasure with another becomes a source of arousal, perhaps stemming from compersion, the joy of seeing one's partner experience pleasure. It can be about surrendering control, embracing vulnerability, and finding a different kind of intimacy. The increasing acceptance of ethical non-monogamy and polyamory has created space for cuckolding to emerge from the shadows. Online platforms and communities have played a crucial role in this destigmatization, connecting like-minded individuals and fostering a sense of community. Technology has also shaped the practice. Real-time photo and video sharing adds a new dimension, while virtual reality offers the potential for immersive experiences. This technological evolution raises questions about intimacy, reality, and human connection. Cuckolding, however, has challenges. Jealousy can be a significant hurdle. Open communication, clear boundaries, and professional guidance are crucial. The potential benefits include a revitalized sex life, deeper intimacy, and a challenge to traditional power dynamics. For some, it's a way to subvert gender roles or strengthen their bond with their partner. Societal perceptions are slowly evolving. Increased visibility and acceptance of diverse relationships are paving the way for greater understanding. However, potential downsides include trivialization and misrepresentation in mainstream media. Cuckolding is not a one-size-fits-all solution. It requires trust, communication, and mutual respect. It's a journey of self-discovery that can lead to deeper intimacy and a more fulfilling connection, but it must be chosen consciously and consensually. The future of cuckolding will be shaped by evolving social norms, technology, and ongoing conversations about relationships. It's a future where the meaning of cuckolding might be redefined, resonating with diverse voices. It's a future where vulnerability is embraced, and the complexities of human sexuality are celebrated. It's a future where the focus shifts from defining cuckolding to exploring the infinite possibilities of human connection. From shame to desire, the evolution of cuckolding reveals a complex interplay of societal norms, individual desires, and evolving definitions of intimacy. The historical condemnation associated with the term is being challenged by modern interpretations that emphasize consent, communication, and the diverse expressions of human sexuality. This shift prompts us to reconsider traditional relationship models and explore the potential for deeper connection through unconventional practices. The future of intimacy may lie in embracing vulnerability and challenging preconceived notions. What are your thoughts on the evolving landscape of relationships? Share your perspectives and questions in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and suggest topics for future explorations. The journey of understanding human connection is an ongoing one, and your curiosity is valued here.